This is your whiteboard brief for Friday, May 8th. Our strength today will be 3 rounds of negative push-ups, floor press, and banded pull-aparts. After 1 round, you'll rest 1 minute before moving on to the next round. Our Metcon consists of 4 Tabatas. Each Tabata will last 4 minutes long, with 8 rounds of 20 seconds of work and 10 seconds of rest. After each Tabata, you'll rest 1 minute. Our first Tabata will consist of push press, our second Tabata jumping lunges, our third Tabata alternating dumbbell snatch, and our fourth Tabata burpees. We're going to finish today with 2 rounds of 4 15-second pec stretch holds and 10 thoracic rotations. That'll be 5 on each side. Okay guys, our strength today is going to be 3 rounds of negative push-ups, floor press, and banded pull-aparts. If you guys don't have a band today, we're going to do the bent over reverse fly. So let's start with the negative push-ups. Negative push-ups are great for developing push-up strength. So anytime we're focusing on that eccentric motion and slowing it down, that's really going to help us build strength. So make sure you guys are taking your time to do these. Really focus on our tempo today, which is going to be 3 seconds down, hold for 1 at the bottom, push up, hold for 1 at the top. Okay, we're gonna do 8 reps there. Those are pretty challenging, so they don't have to be done unbroken. We just wanna make sure you guys are taking advantage of the negative portion of that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate that. Remember, if you are trying to do a prescribed push-up, you're hitting full range of motion, so chest is touching the ground and you're coming up to full extension at the top. Okay, so remember, we want to start in our perfect plank, which is basically getting into the hollow position. So I'm squeezing my glutes, engaging my core, punching up really, really hard through my shoulder blades. And now I'm going to take my 3 seconds to go down. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, hold 1, up 1, hold 1, down 3, 2, 1, hold 1, up 1, hold 1. So notice when I'm in the bottom of the position and I'm holding for my 1 second, I was not relaxing. I was still thinking about screwing my hands into the mat, squeezing my core, and staying under tension. Remember guys, we do have a great scaling option, especially for negative push-ups, which would be to go to your knees or legs straight out, just depending on how much assistance you need, and putting a pillow or a blanket or something that's going to give you a few inches off the ground. That way you can still go through the motion, but you have that assistance, okay? So if you need to go on your knees today, just make sure you don't have a huge angle in your hips. I still want to kind of press my hips down to the ground, still thinking about screwing my hands into the mat, and then from here, still doing my tempo. Remember, we want the elbows going back at that 45-degree angle. They should not be winging out to the side like that. Okay, so once again, we have our 3, 2, 1, hold 1, up 1, hold 1. Okay, so you guys will have 8 reps there to do. Next movement is going to be our floor press. Okay, so remember, our floor press is working the top half of the bench press, therefore, we should not be letting our hips leave the ground on this. Butt stays planted. Okay, these are done with a neutral grip. So my elbows are kind of just out at a 45-degree angle. And from here, I'm just pushing straight up. Okay, so that's neutral grip. I'm not working to pronate or supinate, anything weird like that. Just pushing down and up, making sure you're getting to full extension at the top. Okay, if you guys are using a barbell today for the floor press, make sure you're trying to bend that bar forward. So turning on those external rotators, just like we would in a bench press, screwing my shoulder blades into the ground, physically trying to break that bar, and then from here, bringing it straight down and pushing back up. Okay, so you guys will have 10 of those to do, and then we have 20 banded pull-aparts. I don't have my band in here, but I will demonstrate with my invisible band. So going from forehead height, pulling down to chest level. Okay, really focusing on squeezing those shoulder blades down and back. That's why we do these. So don't just go through the motion. If you guys don't feel these, that means you're not doing them right. You're not engaging back here. So we should see movement every time, okay? So squeezing down and back. If you're doing these right, these should be pretty toasty by rep 6, 7. So you guys have 3 rounds of that today. You're gonna rest 1 minute after you finish your. Hey guys, our Metcon for today is going to be 4 different Tabatas. So just a reminder as to what Tabata is. You guys probably know this by now. We've been doing a lot of them here at home. But what Tabata is 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest for 4 minutes. So you have 8 working sets of 20 seconds. 4 different movements today. We're gonna focus on 1 movement per Tabata. Okay, so we're gonna start with, 4 Tabatas today. The first one is push press. Second one is jump lunge. Third one is dumbbell snatch. 4th Tabata is burpees. So let's talk about the push press first. You guys can do this with a barbell, kettlebell, or dumbbells. And remember, this is push press, so we do get help from our lower half, okay? It does not have to be a strict press. So we're gonna start with our feet about hip width apart, okay? Dumbbells come to our shoulders. Elbows just at about a 45-degree angle. I'm not fighting to keep them out here and directly in the front. With our dumbbell, we can keep that neutral grip. Okay, so from here, we're gonna do our vertical dip. Okay, I'll show you guys from the front and then the side. So when I do that vertical dip, I'm thinking about driving my heels hard into the ground. Okay, and this is driving my knees out, torso stays straight up and down, punch up. When I land, arms are next to my ears and fully extended. Okay, so dip and punch, dip and punch. I'll show you guys from the side so you can see my dip and how my torso stays vertical as opposed to rocking forward, okay? So dip and punch, dip and punch. It is a small but aggressive dip. Same concept for the barbell, okay? We're gonna get into a slight front rack position. It does not have to be that crazy exaggerated front rack that we would use for a clean or a front squat. We just want our elbows through to break that vertical plane. So from the side, it should look like this. Okay, I also wanna think about driving my shoulder blades down and back. So that same feeling you guys get when you do the banded pull aparts, that's how I want you guys to kind of feel your shoulders activated before you start. Same concept here, we're gonna do that small but aggressive vertical dip. Dip and punch, dip and punch. Okay, getting your head out of the way and then putting it back through. Okay, if you guys are only working with a kettlebell, you're gonna grip the handles here. We're gonna go from like the goblet position, same thing. Dip and punch, dip and punch. Okay, that's our first Tabata. Focusing on that movement for the first 4 minutes. Between our Tabatas, we're gonna rest 1 minute. Okay, our second Tabata is a jump lunge. These are pretty challenging, so these are for people who have mastered the walking lunge, front and reverse lunge. Keep that in mind. Okay, so what the jump lunge is a more explosive version of a walking lunge, I would say. Okay, so with these, you're gonna be hopping up in between reps, getting full hip extension. So it looks something like this. And almost lost it on that last one. So guys, you really have to think about staying controlled with these. They don't have to be super fast, just make sure they are controlled. Please don't let your knee crash into the ground, okay? If the jumping is a little bit too difficult for you guys, you can do front lunge or reverse lunge, okay? So just making sure that knee gently touches the ground, getting up the full hip extension in between. You guys can also do reverse lunges. Just make sure, like I said, you're standing up all the way in between your reps. That is the second Tabata. Third Tabata is dumbbell snatch. Okay, so working with 1 dumbbell, creating tension on our non-working side. We're going to tap, pull, punch, then alternate. Tap, pull, punch, okay? Make sure when you guys land, arm is next to the ear. And remember, this is not a clean and jerk, okay? So I'm not pulling and coming to a stop and then pressing. I'm thinking of pulling, 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 punching at the last minute, okay? That is our dumbbell snatch. And then our last Tabata is gonna be burpees, okay? So chest and thighs touch the ground, come up to full extension in between, okay? Work on practicing efficient burpees today, okay? So instead of landing narrow on the way up, land wide and flat-footed, clapping above head. Okay guys, like I said, we have 4 Tabatas today. In between each Tabata, we're gonna have 1 minute of rest.